Hello, beautiful people. Thanks for tuning in to our first ever episode. I'm lucky to have one of my good friends as a first guest, Mr. Clinton Wike.
Hello.
Thank you for coming, bro. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Before we even got here, you said you were mixing your new song.
Oh yes, Synthetic Sunsets. Yeah.
How's it been? I know it's different for you.
It's been good. I've worked on that song like so much now. I've had it for a while, and I've recorded it, tried so many different things, and just was like, nah. But I think now, I think this is the time. I got the version that I'm going to release into the world, and I've just been experimenting with equalizers and trying to get it sounding clear and nice. Which has been fun.
Yeah. The first time, like when you say you've been working on it for a long time, you played it at that open mic, at that wine bar, and that was like November.
Yeah, and I've had it since high school.
Really?
Yeah, I've just been sitting with it because I love it. But like, it's when you love something a lot, it's like, I don't know. I guess it's just hard to let it go. But
yeah. What is it that what's been taking so long? Like what's the process been like?
It was just, I guess, having a higher expectation for myself than where I was, because I would hear like certain things and I'd be like, oh, that sounds really good, and I want my like guitar skills per se, or guitar skills to be at that level, and I want it to flow a little bit better because I felt the distance between my guitar playing and my singing. Like I would have to think a little bit too much about guitar and too much about the singing, but now I feel like I'm in a place where I can kind of go a little bit further out with the guitar, and yeah, I'm cool with that now. So yeah.
So in a lot of ways it was like the production that you were...
You got a mosquito.
Oh, do I really?
Yeah, don't let that...
Where?
On your hand.
Oh shit.
You're
Thank
good,
you,
you're
bro.
good.
I could have died.
Could have.
So is it like, because you wrote the song, like you wrote the lyrics a long time ago.
Yeah,
but it was the production that you were
working on.
I
wrote it in, Mr. Healy?
Yeah.
Mr. Healy.
Mr. Healy's class.
Junior year, I think it was. And what was that, chemistry? Was junior year chemistry or physics?
Yeah. Do you want water?
Oh, I'll take some water. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take some water.
Thank you.
Shout out to my mom for always giving water, being a mom.
Yeah, I think it was chemistry. I wrote it then. So I started with the words for that one. And then I think I started with the ukulele. And I made some simple chords. I think the same chords that I use now, I started with the ukulele. And then I was like, all right, let's move it on to the guitar, because you can do a little bit more with the guitar and it's a more of a fuller sound. And yeah, that was the conception for that.
Does it always start with the lyrics for you?
No. For the two songs that I performed so far that you've heard, I think it started with the lyrics in that same like fashion where I was just somewhere not wanting to be necessarily there, and I was just writing away, and then I would go home and then find some chords that I liked and then just experiment with melodies and then find a way for the words to get into it. Yeah, what is it like for you? For, let's see, Hey Baby, how did that come?
Oh, okay. So that one was funny because, like, I don't know, I don't write lyrics, like, I don't make it like, okay, this is a song. It's more like I have a few phrases. So, like, remember since we started rehearsing in, like, November, we would have rehearsals and I would be on the piano just doing, like, I got this love from above and I can... And, like, I had that for, like, a couple of months. Because remember the first time we played at Berlin, that was the only words in the song. And we just kept, like, repeating it. And then I kind of do this thing where, like, I have the phrase, and then I write the whole song in my head before I ever, like, sit down and do it. I'll come up with the whole thing, and then I'll have a day where I'm like, okay, today I'm going to finish it.
You write all the lyrics in your head?
I write the lyrics and the production. Like I do the whole thing in my head first.
Wow.
And then like I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna do that "Hey Baby" song today, and then I'll sit down. It'll take me about like 3 hours, and then
That's pretty
I'll
cool.
get it out.
So you can hear it in your mind before you even lay
That's
it
the
out.
only way I can hear it. Like
wow.
I can't hear it. Like it's. That's why I make a lot of albums. Actually, is because I like I can't really make singular songs. They're more like I have like a concept.
So
then,
it comes to you as a concept before it.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then now it's just a matter of like, can I get it out? And I'm playing this game of like, does it come out of the speakers the way it did in my head? And I just want it to match up. And I think like...
That's probably a huge distance, no? Or you feel like you're...
I feel like now they're matching up.
Oh,
At the
nice.
beginning, it wasn't. Like, that's why I keep putting them out. Because like as soon as I put it out, I'm like, all right, like to me, it's like figuring out a puzzle. So the first one I made, like, I made the puzzle, but like I was missing some pieces. Like I just lost them. I didn't know what I was doing. But then as soon as it was over, I was like, okay, I know what I was missing. I'm gonna do the next one now. And then as soon as that one's done, I was like, oh shit, I'm missing something else. And I could say, and this is probably within the past 2 months, where I could say like, now it comes out like the way I want it to.
Nice.
At the beginning, it was frustrating because people would be like, I like this song, but I'm like, nah, that's not how it sounded in my head.
You gotta listen to yourself when it comes to things like that. Not saying like people could like something, but you gotta keep to that center thing.
Yeah, you have your own standard, you know.
For real.
Like,
But that was interesting that you said that, because Bjork sort of does it in the same way. I watched like this huge documentary of hers, and she would like melodies would come to her, and she explained it like she had like I guess a cabinet in her mind, and she would take ideas, open it, and put it in and close it, she said. And then like months later, she would go back and open it. And I'm just like, how?
I'll do that too. Like I was telling Will, like all the songs that are coming out now have been with me since I was like a kid.
Oh wow.
Like it's not new. These are all just like childhood ideas, and it's like I just didn't have this. And when I was like, I remember being like 11 or 12 and being like, I'll make that when I know how to make it. Even now, like there's some ideas that I have that I can't do yet. Like there's an album I have in my head of like just live strings, but I just don't have access to the strings yet.
Yeah.
So like I just tabled it. Eventually I'll get access to strings, and when I do, I'll be like, okay, it's time to make that one.
I want to do the same thing. Like once I have access to strings or more string players, I want to take the songs I've done already and create orchestral versions for them.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah, I'm really excited to experiment. I've tried using like when I was working on an earlier version of Synthetic Sunsets with Andre, he showed me I think it was the BBC Symphony thing. So then I got that, and I went home and I tried to mess around with that, but I still feel like too stiff.
Yeah, the computer strings don't have the feel.
Yeah.
It's always missing something for me.
But I think once I do get into that, I think I might fare well, because I was in the orchestra, so I kind of know how the things work. But I wanted to ask you, since you brought up like having like ideas from your childhood and bringing them to fruition, what was like your entryway into music as a kid? I think you played in
As a
kid?
kid,
In the church?
I played in the church. So my mom sings. Everybody in my family sings, and they were all like in the church choir. And I wanted to be a part of the choir, but I was like, I'm not a singer. Like I never considered myself to be one. So my mom was like, you should learn how to play the piano. She said when I was like a baby, when she would have to rehearse with the church, some of those like rehearsals would be very long, and I would just sit there like the whole time and just like watch the musicians. So she was like, you should really learn how to play the piano. I was like, no. I was like, I want to play the drums. Like I want to bang. So I started taking lessons when I was like 6, and then by the time I was like 7, I was the church drummer. And that was it was a very interesting experience, because the other musicians are grown men. Like these guys are in their 30s, and they don't care that you're 7. It's like you gotta
You
keep
see those
up.
videos on Instagram with like the 4-year-old babies?
Yo, you
I'm
gotta
like,
keep
yo.
up. And the music is so fast. Like,
Yeah, it's high energy.
back to like the thing where like things I want to do in the future. It's probably because of church, but like I have a thing for choirs. That's why a lot of the songs have so much like layering. It's like I'm layering myself a bunch of times because it's just me, but like if I had the resources, like
You would have different.
I would get a choir, man. Like that's
You could do like Jacob Collier did this cool idea where he got all his like friends and loved ones to send them voice tracks, and even if they're not amazing singers, I'm sure you know like just having those different voices gives it like a very full texture. And
that's why I love the choir, because like everybody's vocal tone is so individual. If you get 100 people like with all these different tones, like when they come together, it's like, yeah. But that was like my intro, and that's where a lot of like the ideas come from. Is like growing up with a choir, everything was like 3-part harmony to me, because that's how like the choirs work. So like that's how I like to write now. And the instruments, like the main sound of the church is an organ, and like I love organs. Like I try to put an organ in every song if I can. Like
I think my grandfather plays the organ
yeah,
in church and stuff like that. I haven't really gone to his church or anything because I think he's in Maryland now. He plays out there. But I think I knew about organs. My first like time I really like loved the organ was probably on Frank Ocean's track "Bad Religion." I think he uses an organ, right? And then I think
beautiful. There's an organ on Forrest Gump at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think that's an organ. It's a beautiful instrument, man. And like the organ player at my church can't read music. Like it's all ear and feel. So like I can't really read music either. Like
I relate to that,
you know.
half. Like I can't read. I can read tabs, but tabs is not really. It is a sort of a system. But I did a little bit of reading for piano and violin. I can sight read pretty well on the violin, but when it comes to like sitting down and creating things, it's just like feel,
no clue.
and shapes and stuff like that.
Like I have a hard time. Sometimes I'll be in sessions and like I'll start playing chords and somebody be like, "What chord is that?" And I'll be like, "You just gotta look at my hands, bro.
Yeah.
I can't be like, this is G minor 7. Like I don't know."
I think in time, it's definitely good to like learn that stuff for situations like that. But in time,
help.
like I think your shapes and your stuff will solidify, and you'll find like a route almost more so. I like to imagine so then when like someone asks you, you can be like, "Oh, it's this," and then they play and they got it. But
it's always like, it's like, okay, these are the chords that make me sad. These chords make me smile. These chords make me want to cry. And like that's always how that's how they're like programmed in my head. Like if they're in folders, it's like these are the sad chords. These are like the feeling good chords. And if I'm in a session and somebody's like, I'm feeling sad, like I'll just go into that folder. And like a lot of them, I started to try to learn what some of them are. A lot of them are like minor chords.
yeah, that's typical. They say minor is sad, major is happy.
A lot of minor chords, but like there are a lot of the chords that I got from church. And that's one thing I love about talking to musicians is like everyone kind of has their own like set of chords, you know, like in all the music that you make, there tends to be a common denominator, and it's like those chords that you fall back on. And like I love to ask people like, where'd you get those chords from? And like some people grew up in the church versus like people that grew up in like jazz band have like a totally different set. And you can hear it, like Andre plays in a church, you know. When push comes to shove and it's time to freestyle, you kind of know where he's gonna go. Like even though it's free and he's going anywhere, you kind of like, you can keep up if you understand the church chords, you
Yeah.
kind of know like where he's gonna go next, in a way.
Yeah, I didn't spend too much time in the church. I left when I was young. Like I went to this one in Brooklyn. I think Mariah Carey would be there too, and she would be all the way up in the front. So
Yeah.
just for that reason, it was really like interesting to go.
I go to church with Mariah Carey.
But it was like, just smelled like gum, and it was hot, and I had to sit there for like 4 hours, and people are just like falling on the floor and screaming.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That's the church I grew up on. It's just a concert, yo.
Yeah, that's what I like the music part of it.
Yeah.
And then I stopped going. We just fell off from it, and yeah.
So then what was your intro to music?
Well, my dad.
Your dad.
My dad would always be playing because he had a studio in the basement, and he would just be in there like blasting music all the time. And I never was like necessarily like, I don't think I was drawn to it because of him, because I never went down and like watched his sessions and stuff like that. It was more so, okay, there's just this noise, but I would imagine in some way he kind of like geared me towards that. But I think it was probably just listening to the music that they would play, like my mom and stuff in the car, and then I just started singing.
Yeah.
And embarrassingly, not so much embarrassingly, but I think Justin Bieber was like the first like artist that I like tried to like sing his songs. Like I knew all of like My World, and I would sing all that stuff, and I would sing at school for my friends and just everywhere. And
is that the first artist that like you could say like you found yourself? It wasn't like your mom or dad showed you?
Yeah, I think so, because I found him in school because everyone was going crazy about him. And before that, I think my mom played a lot of like female R&B singers. I think she said like it's like Tamia. There's this one Aaliyah, Tamia. There's this one video of this like girl in a. It looked like the Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets. She was like in this like underground like water place. And
This was the album cover?
I think she had like a brown no, it was a video, music video.
Okay.
And I forget her name, but I used to watch that video all the time. I'll probably figure it out later. But her, Stevie Wonder, a lot of John Legend.
Mm.
I used to love that. I don't know what album it was, but it had Let's go to the park. I wanna kiss you underneath the stars. You know that one?
I'm trying to think of the album cover.
We Just Don't Care, PDA. I think it was him in some like European.
Ordinary People.
Is that the name of the album?
It's like the side of his face, right?
He's like on the piano.
I think so.
It might be that one, yeah.
I think so. I don't know.
A lot of that. Just a bunch of random stuff.
Laptop that every podcast has.
We got to get you a mic.
You're right, JV.
Yeah, there was a lot of Stevie in the house when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my dad doesn't really listen to music. My mom listens to a lot of music. It was all soul. It was a lot of Stevie, Earth, Wind and Fire, Kool and the Gang, the OJs, Minnie Riperton, Gladys Knight and the Pips. She used to watch Soul Train all the time. So it was a lot of that growing up.
Someone told me recently my song gave them Soul Train vibes.
Which one?
I don't remember which one. That just stuck in my head because I was like, isn't Soul Train like, isn't it like disco music?
A lot of disco, a lot of funk, a lot of groovy.
Okay.
Yeah, grew up on
Never watched
that.
it.
I could like, when I was in high school, probably like sophomore year, I got Spotify. And that's really when I started like finding things. That's when I found out about Disclosure.
I found them around there because I loved Ed Sheeran. I think they did the song together. Oh no, Sam Smith.
Sam Smith. They
Sam
did that
Smith.
song Latch. That was, it was all over the radio, and I heard that song, and that was the first time I remember being like, I like this song. I want to hear more by these people, and like I actually went out of my way to like look them up. And then that sophomore year, they dropped their second album, and that was like my intro to like British house music, and like I fell in love with it instantly. And then house music in general, like Daft Punk, I got
Yeah.
into.
I remember when we were first working on music and we were trying to create like, it was like a house vibe. It reminded me of
Yeah.
Disclosure a lot, yeah.
That was like, oh yeah, when I first started making music, because they used to go live on Twitch, and they would like show how they would make beats. So a lot of my beats then were just like things I was taking from like the little classes. So it was all house music for a while, and then like, I don't know, it's changed aesthetically, like. But again, I feel like now it's what I want it to be. Or like when I was making that, like I was like, this is cool, but like it's not me. I felt like I was doing an impression
Okay.
of somebody else. Where like now I'm like, nah, like I think this sounds like myself.
Yeah, I felt that way too. When I don't know so much, I'd let someone else be the judge of that more so. But when I first started making music, everyone was like, Frank Ocean, Frank Ocean, Frank Ocean. And I was like,
I get
okay.
it. You definitely had the Frank vibes.
I hear it. But yeah, I hope I moved a bit from that and cultivated more of my own. But I'm like I think, yeah, I don't know.
Is Frank like an inspiration for you? Because like, okay, there are people that I like and enjoy their music, but like they don't influence what I make. I just enjoy it. And then there are people that I listen to and I'm like, nah, I could tell I make that.
What's really interesting what I found out is that Frank Ocean actually ghost wrote for Justin Bieber a little bit. I think he did one song on the album I really, really liked before I even knew who Frank Ocean was. I think the song was Bigger. And I don't know, it was like I was in middle school and I think I heard Thinking About You and I really, really liked it. And I was talking to this kid at lunch and he was like, oh, my sister put me on the channel Orange, you have to listen to that. And I was like, okay, bet. I went home and I just remember really liking it. Like, I just resonated with it. I just really liked the sounds and stuff. And I just, since then I was just like paying attention to like, you know, what he would release and stuff like that. And everything he does sonically, I just like, yeah.
Yeah, he's really cool. I was late to Frank because that Channel Orange album came out. We had to be in like 6th or 7th grade. 2012, right? Yeah, that's like.
Yeah.
By the way, the John Legend album was
Once Again.
Yeah.
What year was that?
That was 2006.
2006.
Oh wow, yeah. Yeah.
John Legend, I don't know if it's that album or another one, but there's one album that has a lot of Kanye West production on it. You know that song, Heaven Only Knows. That's a Kanye beat. Sick. That's when he was doing like a lot of sampling.
You know, what's that song? And I wonder if you know. That's you know La Vie Cifre?
Is that the sample?
Yeah, so La Vie Cifre is this, he's really cool. I think he's from the UK or something like that. But he does like guitar. I think he plays piano on some songs too. But he's like basically a singer-songwriter and he has some really dope songs. Like, he has Bless the Telephone. It's a super sweet song. Till Forever. They're very short, but they're just like, they just catch you. And he also, I think Jay-Z sampled him too. And Eminem.
Get out of here.
Slim Shady. And my name is what?
Yeah.
What part is it? Doom. Dun dun. Dun dun.
That's by this guy.
Dun 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 dun. Yeah, that was his song. Such a lonely world. Yeah, you gotta listen to that. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna now. You have to put me on after this.
Yeah.
Who else are you listening to now?
I just found, I think his name is, what's his name? It's Elijah Fox? Is that the pianist?
You know Elijah Fox?
Yeah, Elijah Fox. He just released a piano album that's really, really nice called Wyoming Piano Works. I've been listening to Portuguese music this past week, but more like the dance music, more current music. I also like, I think it's called like samba, like Djavan. I'm still trying to do that cover of Acai. And yeah, I mean, Sufjan I always go back to sometimes. And I've been listening to this Japanese artist, my friend I met out there. He put me on to, his name is Orisaka Yuta. And I've been listening to this one song called Hikari, which which is
I
pretty
feel
dope.
like you told me about that at some point.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know where you find this stuff.
Just a lot of the music I find is either from watching interviews of artists I like, and they'll like mention songs and I'll go and listen to it, or like when people tell me about something, I'll go, or if I hear it somewhere. And a lot of interviews, I read a lot of interviews and I watch a lot of interviews, and yeah, it's just they're always just dropping gems.
Yeah, I'm in the season for some new music. I haven't been listening to anybody because I'm about to start writing again.
Mm.
Right before I start writing, I like to do like radio silence.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, I don't know. It's all over the place sometimes. Disclosure dropped a new album, so obviously listen to that.
Recently?
Yeah, like I think last week.
Mm.
Honestly, I've been listening to a lot of my friends. Like really, like I've been playing Donnie's record a lot. Like, yeah. Zavely had a record from like a year ago that I've been playing a lot. Jungle, I'm always listening to Jungle. They're from the UK. They do all those cool music videos.
Oh, the
with
dancing
dance
music
team.
video. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the. What was da 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 da?
Casio, yeah. Oh, that song is so good. That song is like a top 5 for me, easily.
Bobby McFerrin, I think, did the same thing. He literally stopped listening to music, I think, for years, I want to say.
Hmm.
Just so he could, like, he's saying he's trying to find his own voice, and he's very impressionable, so he was just like, all right, silence, and then go into it.
Same.
It's admirable, because I feel like music is sort of like therapeutic for me in some way,
Yeah.
but I get it. Like, sometimes I like silence too.
It helps. Like, at least for me, I'm very impressionable too, and like, if I really like a song, I'll make it. And it's not like intentional. It's not like I'm gonna copy this thing.
Yeah.
It just kind of subconsciously bleeds in,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll listen back to it, and I'm like, oh, you just made that song you like. So like, because of it, I try to like, if I know I'm about to start writing soon, I'll kind of like,
Clear that out, yeah.
you know. But like,
I feel that, yeah.
there are some records that like, when I'm in these stretches, I'll always listen to them. Like I always listen to Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. That's like, if I'm not listening to music right now, I have that record on vinyl, and this Cleo Soul record called Mother.
I think you sent that one to me, right? With like the bluish, like white
Yeah,
kind of.
she's got her baby on the cover.
Mm-hmm. That was nice.
And I'll just play those two, and I'll just live off of that. And I'll live off of that for like a couple of months. Like every day, I'll play it every day. Like it doesn't get old to me. Like I always find, at least in those two records, especially the Stevie record, I still feel like I hear something new every time.
That's most of Sumney for me. Like I can listen to his music all the time, and it's just like new things coming out, because his music is so, he gets like really good, like very, I don't know the word I would use, just the artists he chooses to bring into the collection, they just create this beautiful world, and it's just, yeah, I love listening to that stuff. And I went back to Donny Hathaway's A Song for You. I know you know that song, and I found out that the flute and the strings, I think, in that song were done by a Turkish composer. I've been meaning to go back and listen to his stuff. I haven't gotten to it yet. But then, because I became aware that that wasn't necessarily Donnie doing it, for some reason I paid more attention to that part of the song. And it's a whole other thing. Like I just wasn't listening as closely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that song opened up for me a lot, like 2 days ago.
Donnie's amazing. His
That-
daughter is amazing.
Yeah.
Layla.
That family has a
Yeah.
lineage.
Gifted. Donnie's music, like, sonically, Donnie, Marvin Gaye, like these soul guys from that time, they have like an aesthetic that I've been trying to capture for a long time. I feel like I'm getting there, but like, sonically, like, when we were talking before about reverb, like they've kind of done it in a way where like, I don't know, it's just so soulful, especially like Marvin Gaye records. Like it just has like this, it's like it works any time of the day. Like there's some songs for me that like I play at night, and some songs I play in the morning, And like those guys, it doesn't matter what time of the day, like they always fit. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like if you're at a barbecue, it fits. If you're driving in the car late at night, like it still slaps. Like it just it fits.
I definitely wouldn't listen to a song for you during a sunny day.
Yeah.
But in terms of time, I haven't really listened to a lot of Donnie's music outside of that song.
Yeah.
I think I was at work the other day, I was just like going through his music and I heard like 2 other songs. There was one I really loved. I forgot the name of it though.
I like Love, Love, Love.
Is that him?
I forget how it goes now. It's something, 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 something. There's not just one thing I'm gonna do. I'm butchering the words, but like that's like the premise. It's a beautiful song. It's about oh, I know the line I like from it. He's like, when I was kissing someone new, the whole time I was thinking of you.
Damn.
I was like, oh, that one.
Damn.
Yeah, that one hit too close to home. I like those type of like songs though, you know. There's another song, I forget who sings it, but it's about a man and he's married and he's having an affair with a woman who's also married. And the hook is, if loving you was wrong, then I don't want to be right. And every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's so...
That gives me the, if loving you is a sin, take me to heaven.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't say I wasn't inspired by that. Because, like, yeah. That was another one of those songs, like, I was driving in the car. Actually, like, I was seeing, like, my ex-girlfriend at the time. And, like, we left and we were in an argument. And I was driving home. I was so mad. But, like, I knew I really still cared about her. And then, like, if loving you is a sin, then send me to hell then. And I had music on in the car, and when it came to me, I had to shut the music off because I was like, I can't lose this.
Yeah.
So I was like a half hour from the house. I just had to drive in silence because I was like, I can't. You know when you get something and like you just can't lose it.
That happens to me, bro. The most frustrating thing ever is when I get it in dreams, because the music I hear in my dreams is the most beautiful, most purest, like insane thing I've ever heard in my life. And I'm like, how ever in my life am I going to get that into
It never
this
follows
world?
you when you wake up?
Bro, so this is what will happen. It's actually mad funny. I'll imagine, I'll be like, okay, once I wake up, grab the phone, sing it into the phone because it's gonna go, you know? So I wake up, but I wake up in the dream. So I grab the phone in my dream and I sing it into the mic. And then I'm like, okay, I got it. And I'm mad, like, relaxed. And I'm like, wait, I didn't wake up. So then I go to do it again. And I kind of have it. But by the time I listen to it, it doesn't have, like, the harmonic texture. It doesn't have all the stuff that gave it that.
It loses the love.
That thing. But I still kind of get a little bit of it sometimes.
It's very frustrating when you lose momentum on a song. Like,
Oh, yeah.
there's been songs I worked on and, like, for me, sometimes if I sit on it for too long, like if I'm just working at it for too long, I'll wake up one day and I'll be like, I don't like this anymore. And then it's frustrating because I'm like, I know this was something, and then
You just lost it, sort of. It's not.
and I don't have the drive to finish it. I'll be like, nah, I'd rather just make something new than like.
That's the thing, though. I'm not speaking for myself, although I'm speaking like what we should do is like, if that happens, you still have to. Maybe you don't have to, but I think there might be some utility in sticking with it and then doing the work. Like, okay, how can I restructure this or take what I created and make it into something that has a structure or has some type of form that I like? Or
There's definitely value in seeing it through.
yeah.
There's been times too where like those ones that you finish that you know you don't love, sometimes those pieces have become other things.
Okay.
Like, you know, You Mean So Much to Me. That was a different song. The second verse in that song was the hook of an original song. And I lost the juice for it. And then when I started making You Mean So Much to Me and I got around to the second verse, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. And I was like, I wrote this whole thing that I didn't use, and I just, and it fit. And then when it fits perfectly like that, I don't know, something tells me like, this is what it was always supposed to be. Like that was just like a lesser version or like a prototype, but like this, it was supposed to be this.
It's sort of like what the Bible says, you throw up the wheat and the chaff, and then the wheat blows away, the chaff blows away, and you're left.
I wouldn't know, but like,
you know,
I'll take your word for it.
Essentially what it means is basically there's going to be a little light of something in anything you do, and you have to, it's an editing process, you have to uncover what that thing is that you feel, and then recontextualize it, and maybe in something else, and then it'll grow or turn into something else. I've never done that though. I've never like had like, I don't think I've ever had the start of a song and then not liked it and then took it to another song. That's hard for me. I can't.
It's a very common practice for me.
But
go ahead.
For the one song, Brother's Keeper, I only had an introduction for the longest time. And then the doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, that came like years later.
What did it feel like when you finally figured out that like you got more than that?
And I was just like, I like that. I really like that, so I'm gonna add it. But I remember sending the first version to like my cousin and like my family and friends, and they were like, "It's really good, but like it just ends. Like I feel like it should go somewhere." And I was like, "Okay." And then one day, I think it was when because originally it was on the piano, and I had chords for it and whatnot. And then I was like, since I'm playing my other songs on the guitar, if I ever do a set, I want to be able to also play it on the guitar. And then I ended up liking it more on the guitar. And then the guitar actually brought that second part out somehow. Just the way the chords sounded, I was like, yeah, that's going to go there.
One way I kind of like started figuring out what's to keep and not to keep is I got into this habit of I would write a song, and then the next day I would open up a new project and write it from scratch, like just from memory. And what I notice is like the good ideas, they bleed into the next day, and like the useless parts, you know, because like the first song I make, it'll be like 40 tracks. It's just ideas all over the place. Like I'm just throwing shit at the wall. And then the next day I'll be like, okay, what was I doing yesterday? And like,
I just got distracted because there's a big ass spider.
Oh, is it really? Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, that thing is scary. Well, Gardy said we're running out of time anyway, so like.
Okay. Yeah. How's the lighting? Is it dark? It's fine.
It's getting dark.
Okay.
I fixed it, kind of.
It's getting dark, and I don't like spiders, so like I think we might call it here, bro.
You want to wrap it?
Yeah, but like there's gonna be a part 2 if you want to come back.
Okay.
This has been awesome. Thank you for being my first guest, man.
Thank you for having me.
This has been great. We're playing again soon. That's gonna be exciting, and please finish your music, man.
Yeah,
the people.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate. I've gotten to hear it, but like everybody else, like you're sitting on some gems, man.
Yeah.
Some real gems. You're stupid talented.
They'll be out soon.
They'll be out very soon.
Whenever soon is.
And tell them where they could find you when it comes out.
Maybe go to my Instagram and I'll tell you about my Instagram because I don't know. Probably be on like Apple Music, Spotify, all the main things. People tell me to go to TikTok. I'm kind of hesitant, but maybe I'll do it. I don't know.
You'll do whatever's right for you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so Jarrett, wait. What's the name of this podcast?
The 2wancast. The 2wancast.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Right?
2wancast.
It sticks. Yeah. So tune in for the next episode of the 2wancast. I don't know when it's going to be out. We're going to try to stay on top of these things. And we'll see you soon. It's a wrap.